Hey everybody, GK here, bringing you another Might and Magic Heroes Era of Chaos video, number 2 in the series. I know, the cheering is deafening, but let's tamper down expectations here. We'll move on to the second video in the series. So, today is a topic that was brought up in Skylinks Gaming. Shout out to him for all the work he does, but on his Discord, there was a discussion around guild map movement and kind of thoughts around that. So this is what we're going to go ahead and discuss in this video today. So I'm going to go ahead and start up the game here and let's get into it. So a lot of this is kind of just around the daily piece of the guild map. Now, I have slightly adjusted it only because I knew I wanted to do this video today, and my movement had already maxed out, so I did do a little bit of movement from what I do at the start of the day to kind of get this started. So go ahead and get into the guild adventure here. So normally at the start of the day, I am normally underground, where I'd be residing in either one of the side castles or in Dragon Utopia on the weekends. So then when I would do this is usually in the morning, and I would go ahead and just teleport back to town, and where I'd move to the guild commander and refresh. I'm going to try and do all of my movement within the 30 minutes that the guild commander buff provides you. So here we're going to talk to the quartermaster. It's going to go ahead and give us a quest to have a chance to get an extra 10 movement for 30 minutes. With the goal is to speaking to the quartermaster, which is going to be located into an enemy's territory, and then providing a bonus from there. So we'll go ahead and accept this, and we now have our pathfinding timer on there. Usually before this point, I will have accessed all of the realm monoliths, so you can click on them from anywhere on the map and go through them. I usually try to find ones where I can gain spell scrolls. So usually the ones that are like give gold or give an item. Even now that I've maxed out privilege, finding ones that say, give 5 privilege for 20 spell scrolls, or what I look for. I look to try to maximize my spell scrolls, since currently that's my limiting factor. So here, somebody didn't take the 12 scroll option. If you notice, it'll go 12, 11, this will be 10, 9, and then 8. So doing these on the first set are usually better, so we'll just go ahead and do this battle really quick. This is low enough power, I'm not even going to worry about changing around my units. And we're just going to go ahead and auto this through. So. Alright. Auto through. Dead. Done. We win. I know. We're so amazing. So. Done. Got the Goblin MVP. Click through. Return to guild. We got 4 or 5 left. Now we haven't done mine left. Mine is remaining. So again, I'm gonna click on another realm monolith here. I'm not too worried about spending my 30 minutes. I usually get done with this within 10 to 20 minutes. So the timer is not so much of an issue. You just want to try to do it all within the same time frame. So here, if I challenge this one, I'm only gonna get 10 spell scrolls. I'm gonna look to see what else is on the map. Now again, usually I do this early in the morning. It's when most of my guild is active, and so a lot more of these realm monoliths will be up, so I can kind of pick and choose a little bit more on the ones that I want. So here again, if I do this one, I only get 9. And here we go, we got another one over here. Just kind of going around the map. Again, here's another, this one should be 10, I believe. Yep, so we have 10 spell scrolls. And what else do we have? Oh, here we go. 9 spell scrolls. Alright, so we don't have good pickings per se at this time of the evening. I will generate one eventually, but we're just going to go ahead and knock out the 10s here. We're going to just battle that one and get those. Now you may be prioritizing maybe skill stones over spell scrolls, but for me, like I said, my limiting factor is spell scrolls. So those are the ones that I look for when I do realm monoliths. Alright. Let's move on to the next. So that's 2 down. I believe we saw a few more. That's a 9. Here's a 10. We'll go ahead and battle this one. Again, generally, for me, I'm, higher than most of these powers here, so I'm mostly just battling through them and not worrying about them. For you, you may need to look at which ones are more feasible, or you may have to tweak your where you're placing units to succeed. Now, in the realm monoliths, you can have a unit become dead and it not impact you throughout the guild map when you're fighting other areas. So wouldn't worry too much about that. Might have been one more 10. Was it this one? No, it's a 9. And what we got here? A 9. So we'll just go ahead and use this one here. Now this should put us, have used 4 of the 5 that we have for the day. I'm going to save that last one for mine in case I can get an option to get 20 spell scrolls. Or at least if it's fighting, then I can get 12 spell scrolls because I can pick that first option. A lot of times if I'm able to get 20, 20, 20, 20, or 12 in there, then I won't worry about saving my monolith that I'll trigger to get it. So that, again, just kind of what I do. Here we go. We have that done. I'm going to go ahead and go back to town to save some footsteps. And then we're going to go ahead and go to the one-way monolith interest right over here, which is going to give us a closer teleport to the enemy guilds. Now, throughout the week, there are some other quests. There is the weekly quest with the elf, which is triggered here. So usually on the first day of the week, I'll go ahead and trigger that elf. If the quartermaster is in the monolith that I'm going to for the elf, then I'll usually try to do it that day, or I'll at least talk to the elf and then see where the chest is, and maybe do that on another day. But if the elf listed on the monolith is different than the quartermaster, then I will hold off on that, because eventually you're going to get a quartermaster to go to that elf, and the elf is just once per week, which generally generates you a purple artifact. So it's worth doing every week, and then the quartermaster you want to do every day. The other parts of the guild map are activating tents, obelisks. So you want to hit those when you're going out and do your adventuring. I try to hit those when I'm going out and doing the quartermaster. Usually, for me, I'm usually looking for obelisks in the other realms. The large part of that is because I have guildmates a lot of times already have hit these here in our realm, the guard tents and the guard towers. The other piece is the bosses that spawn up. One will spawn up here, another boss will spawn here, and the third boss will spawn down here. And usually you want to try to hit those once or twice throughout the week. Everybody in the guild should be hitting those. And so if you have extra movement at the end of it, maybe come down and hit one of them, or hit here. Now the thing is when you do attack them, they will kill you and send you back to the town, and you'll do X number of damage, usually like 80 to 100 on the damage. And once they're dead, they'll obviously despawn, and then your guild will have access to the treasure back here. So definitely worth having your guild get those done. And you kind of do them throughout the week. Usually by the 3rd or 4th day, we've cleared all the bosses just from people within the guild, hitting them once or twice. And finishing them off. So that part's already been done, but that's kind of what that is. And then, as we move, we're going to go through the guild map and try to hit resources. We will kind of go out of our way to hit resources. And then when we finish getting the quartermaster quest done, I'll usually stay in that realm and kind of work through one of the edges to get these resources here. The equipment I'll pick up if they're on routes, but I won't go out of my way to pick them up. Same thing with the monsters on the map. You want to attack those when you get to them. They're going to give you skill stones, but I don't necessarily go out of my way to pick them up. The next feature that I want to talk about, see if I can find it, is the taverns. Yeah, here's a tavern here. Now these I'll tend to go out of my way for, or somewhat out of my way for, because they'll give you a universal shard, which are highly sought after. So those will kind of go out of the way. And I'll go a little bit out of my way for lightning elemental shrines or the Cyclops dens. If you're trying to get vampires or wights or water elementals, those are on the map as well. So you may want to pick and choose to move towards those as others. Sometimes for the water elementals, I will maybe go 20 to 30 steps out of my way, but mostly I'm looking for the resources, and then again, taverns, this creature delling here for a Cyclops cave, and the storm elementals. But if it's too far out of my way, I'll debate whether I want to actually use the movement to get over there, because it is a finite resource that you can purchase. So as far as movement, you can hold up to 350. If you notice up here, I have 441. That's because once you move once on the map, obviously there's a quest that gives you another 100. You can refresh the first time for free for 100, and then I believe it's 50 for 100, 50 for 100, and then it's 100 for 100, 100 for 100. And I think that that'll max out for me. And of course, that could be dependent upon your VIP level. But things to keep in mind as far as like getting movement and then evaluating, is the cost of 50 resources to get 100 movement worth it to get additional resources? You can kind of look and plan that out and be like, well, I can move here, 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 and here, which will net more than what I could have gotten, say, getting 50, spending 50 to get 120 resources. 120 energy to get resources. The other thing to keep in mind is this movement is also used for when you're underground. In the weekend, it tends to be more important. So maybe I won't, usually I'll use the free one, I'll use the 51, I'll use a 51. And during the weekdays, I don't really need to spend extra movement. I'll try to save movement to get into the tower at the end when I'm done. And then Dragon Utopia, you got to spend a little bit more on the weekends to get there. Now on the Dragon Utopia, I like to save not use one of my 50 refreshes, so I have that extra refresh to defend when enemy guilds will try to be pushed into it, or allow me to just kind of go out and attack some of these other towers shortly before the daily check to see if you get any additional skill stones, because you'll get skill stones based on these if you hold them. In this case, I will probably save both my 50 refreshes today, so I'm not going to do as much movement on the guild map because I want to save the ability to have 200 extra movement for only paying 100 diamonds, since our underground is very active this weekend. But in some cases, you won't have that activity, and so it may be worth to spend those extra diamonds if you're a paid player, or if you're free to play. You are getting some diamonds every day throughout the missions, and it's an evaluation of what you're getting for what you're putting into it. So sorry for the long spiel on all that. Just kind of my thoughts on the movement. So now we're gonna go ahead. We got 18 minutes left. We should still have plenty of time. We're gonna just go ahead and move to the next one-way monolith here. All right, it's gonna teleport us over. Now we're on here. We're gonna go and just pick this up. It's gonna give us the message, can't move to the target location, so we'll have to move off of it. We'll move off of it and pick that up. So we'll wait on here. Really, this wait is mostly there for if you're in enemy territory and enemies near you. I have caught people that were sitting there getting resources, so I was able to go in there and attack them, because if you try to attack somebody and before you can engage, they move away, it'll drop off. So it kind of ties into a location for a second. So we'll go ahead and pick that up. The other thing before I drop into this monolith is you may want to look at, I'm going to go through there, and I'm going to get the quartermaster, and then I'm going to look and see how far out from that quartermaster are the resources and things that I'm looking to pick up on the guild map. If it's far away, I may decide to go back home and pick up resources here. So there's not a lot of resources down this way. It'll take me a lot of movement just to get to this piece here and then this piece here. That's because earlier this week I've gone through this route and it just hasn't refreshed with enough resources back. It'll slowly kind of add some in. So So using the movement to get down here is not going to be that great. Going up here will take me a little bit of time to hit some of these. I got some more up here, so that could be an option. Moving this way doesn't look as good of an option. Up here, and then through here. And then the other piece is you could actually come back home, go through your one-way monolith, and then start up wrapping around this way or wrapping down this way. And so we do have a tavern over here, a water elemental, and some more resources. So I want to try to keep that in mind when I go through this monolith. So I'm going to move through. And it looks like it's going to be in Black Tower, so we're going to go ahead and teleport there. Now we can kind of see it's all kind of cleared out. That's because every week or every day during this week, it's either I'm going to Egg territory or Black Tower territory in this case. And been here a couple times, hitting these different spots. So the quartermaster is sitting over here, somewhere I've been before. Unfortunately, it's going to take me resources to get there. I'm not really gaining anything until I get to the quartermaster, and we'll kind of go over that once we got those options up there. So we're just going to go ahead and move here, and hopefully we'll proc quite a bit of +10 movement, which essentially will just make the movement free. Here we have the elf. So if I hadn't done that quest, I'd go ahead and hit her at this point, and then she will teleport the treasure, not teleport the treasure, but she will tell you the location of the treasure, which is usually down here, 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 and I think I've had it spawn over here before as well. Again, on the way, we're going to go ahead and attack. We'll get the skill stones. Again, the power is pretty low. I'm not going to worry too much about what I have or placed it. Just it's high enough. I'm high enough that I'm not worried compared to these units. And most people get to that point pretty quickly. They don't necessarily scale. So once you get to a certain threshold, it'll be pretty simple for you. So we'll move on through. And go and talk to the quartermaster here. All right, so he's gonna give you 3 specials that will assist you over the next 8 hours. So basically, it'll take 8 hours for you to get these done. So when I do this in the morning, it's usually available by the evening. If I, for some reason, needed to use those get those resources right away, but usually what will happen is I'll get these resources the next day when I move from underground back to the town and then walk to him and talk to him. And then at the end of the week, if you've probably noticed, you'll get these resources in your email if you didn't have a chance to turn them in. But the 3 option is clear monsters. Now these are going to give you skill stones and shards for units. If you're needing skill stones, it's not a bad option. If you're trying to get shards for units, it's not the best, but it will give you some that may be harder to get. The next option is collect resources. Now these are going to give you the resources you need to upgrade your units. More importantly, currently, until there's a new update and adds more things, it's one of the best way to get some of the resources you're not able to get in the campaigns currently. And so the value of this might go down depending upon the campaigns that are available and the max resources that you need. But I imagine that you'll still be able to get resources here when they add a campaign for things you can't get in that campaign if they kind of bump that scale up. And then equipment is good just for the week that you select it for. So this being a Sunday, if I were to select this, pretty much the benefit I would get to it would not occur. This is going to add the equipment down here that you pick on the map, and that resets weekly, and that'll just helps you make it a little bit stronger, maybe help defend against some higher leveled players, or some of the, if you're still not to the point where you can just win those fights against the standard units in the game here when you're on the guild map, might help you out there. But generally here, I'm gonna collect resources every time. So we'll go ahead and do that. He'll disappear from the map, and now I kind of need to make that choice. I still have 312 movement. I've already used that's including the 100 that I got from the quest. Then I still have the 100 that I'm gonna get from here. So we're gonna kind of look at the map. For here, for the most part, I've cleared out a lot of this area. And for me to move around too much is not going to net me a whole lot of resources. This obelisk's already been activated, so there's not much value in me going that way or none. So at this point, we kind of already realized what we had in the towns, in our home area, so we're going to go ahead and go back to there. The other thing I should mention is that there's a Sphinx event that occurs, I believe it's on Wednesdays, where there'll be Sphinx activations. They'll ask you a question, there'll be 4 answers. Pick the correct one, you'll get Sphinx points, and you'll actually get rewards based off of that, and it goes individual and guild, so also something to keep in mind. The top 3 finishers will get a frame for winning that, so it might be worth at least to try to get all of those done on one of those weeks that has that. Get in the top 3 at least once. By the way, you can still get some resources from it, so it's still good to kind of hit those and do those. So I think we had discussed we're going to go ahead and go this way and kind of come up this route here. So we're going to spend quite a bit of movement doing so. I'm not going to spend the movement to get over to here. It's not something that I'm looking for, but if it's something that you're wanting, it would be worth to hit. We went ahead and activated the Realm Monolith, so we'll go ahead and do that. So we have 1 of 5 left today. That was the one that we have left over. And we'll activate this. Again, I'm looking for spell scrolls, so this is why I did it this way. I'll get the 12 here. So here we go. We'll just auto through this and continue through. So for the most part, this is what I do every day on the guild map. Hit return, we're to 0 of 5 done. Just by activating the Realm Monolith, doing enough movement to trigger that, you'll trigger it within 400 steps, but it's usually done before that. You'll get skill stones for activating it in some guilds currency. So we're going to move over here. We'll move this way. We want to get this stone here, so we're going to also just move it so we hit this guy here. It's going to give us the swordsman, so that's always good. And get some more. Moving up, we'll get the sulfur. Now this one is the gold. I'm not too concerned about gold, but we do want some sulfur, so maybe we'll kind of take this long route here and hit these 2, and then pop up this route. The Realm Monolith doesn't do us any good since I believe we've already completed this one, but we're maxed out for the day. Necklace is on the way, so we'll hit the sulfur, hit this sulfur here, and continue moving through. Now I could have spent the movement to go to the dwarf. So if you're wanting skill stones, you got to think that it's going to take you 10 to go there, or 20. I can't remember where I was at, and then move back to where you're going, or change routes. But that's why I didn't do that. I felt these were more important here. I'm not concerned about the gold here. At this point, it's such a low amount. I think it's like 15k. Hit these. Now I could spend 10 to get here and then 20 to get back for some skill stones. At this point, I kind of like to get to this wood, so I could count it out, but I'm just going to go ahead and move this way. So at this point, it's more of resource allocations. You have so many resources, and how do you allocate those best to get the end result? Your actions won't be, the actions that you choose could have effects. They're not going to be so detrimental generally. Just kind of go with the gut feeling on a lot of them. So we're going to go, again, we just hit them on our way. So we're going to go ahead and get those 8 skill stones. They're only greens, but it's essentially free at this point. It didn't cost us any movement since we were already going that way. All right. Alright, so now we're getting to that wood here. Get that wood. We'll pop up and grab this sulfur. This has already been activated. If this was an enemy territory, we would have raided it. Here we can see people that have raided this so far. It's down 90%. So again, I could spend 10 movement there, 10 movement back to get 8 shards. I have 40 left, so if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, that I'm getting to right here and getting this, or I can spend 1, get this, 2, get this, and then move down to probably over here. So again, resource allocation is kind of looking at what's on the map, where you want to go. In this case, it's not worth it to me to spend 60 diamonds on 2 tokens, so I'm going to go ahead and ignore that. Which will move them off, so we can just continue moving. We got a 10 little boost there. Oop, almost hit recruit, sneaky game. Let's go and ignore. At this point, we got a weak monster here and some pile of sulfur. I have 10 movement left. I wanted to save both my, I'll have 100 movement left. I wanted to save both my 50s for the underground this tonight. It's been very active down there. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and move here. Got the free 10 movement. Move here. I can hit both of those now. So we'll go ahead and attack that and clear this out. Apologize for the pauses here. I have terrible tickling in my throat. So, just so you guys are aware, I know too much information. Didn't need to know that, but here we go. All right, that's knocked out. We're gonna go ahead and pop that 100 free. And if we notice to get underground, we're gonna teleport back here, right? It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gets us to underground. It's usually 6, 7. Free movement here, 8, 9, 10, or 10 to get in. So it's basically 100 to get into the Dragon Utopia at this point, which we now have. So we're gonna go ahead and return to town. It's gonna get us back, gonna move through. Got some free movement there. Again, we were able to complete what we wanted to do. We still have 4 minutes left. Normally I would be in the upper ground for another, I'd use that 100 up there, probably use that other 50 up there, and then spend that last 50 to get to the closest tower or the Dragon Utopia if I didn't need to be worrying about defending a lot. Or I would have saved possibly maybe just 150 to defend there. So again, it's more of choices you want to make on that regards and kind of what the activity level is down here. So the more active I am down here on the weekends, the better help it is for my guild in being able to hold and retain Dragon Utopia, which we can see here you get 24 per hour. So if you can hold that all day, it's a nice sum of free diamonds. So moving through, go ahead and hit the Black Quarter and ending in Dragon Utopia. So it started every day. I'll start in one of the cities generally if somebody had knocked me out. Teleport up to town. Hit the guild commander, and then go out and do the quest as well as hitting up the other extra activities throughout the guild map. And then I try to do that with all in that 30 minutes, and then get back into the castle underground to get those diamonds. Now you can see here we have the blinking. We've completed the quest. When we come back to her, she will give us the resources that we're accumulating over 8 hours. So again, that'll happen in the morning, either by me talking to her or by the weekly reset, which will occur in this case because it's Sunday. So that is my thoughts and processes with the guild map and what I try to do down there. So I hope somebody found that helpful. If you did find that entertaining or helpful information, please hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. I appreciate it. And if you like this type of content, but for some individuals that can do it way better than me, check out the 2 cards. We got Skylinks Gaming and The Wicked One putting out some great content. So check the cards. They'll have their newest content on there. And thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.